Hi, friends. This is your host, Rodrigo. And today we're going to see the secrets management building block in Dapr. So I'm changing the resolution here in my other monitor. And I'm going to switch the video to this other place. Hold on. So let's present, share screen. And yeah, this is because I cleaned up my machine the other day and all the cookies and settings are gone. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Perfect. So welcome to the Dapr in Action series, and this is session 8. And secrets are quite critical when you're building any kind of application, since um, it's not a good idea to share your connection strings, your keys, your secrets anywhere, right? It's not a very good idea to, I don't know, to commit your changes with all the connection strings and all the configuration files in the repo. And that's not a quite a very good idea, right? So the thing about the secrets management building block is that it allows you to use different secret stores, such as the AWS Secrets Manager. Google has another one, HashiCorp Vault, and Azure Key Vault, and so on, in a very straightforward way. So you don't need to worry about referencing NuGet packages or libraries in your application and use those APIs to get those secrets and manage the secrets. So this is fantastic. This is congruent with the additional building blocks that we've seen in this series, since you only use this Dapr sidecar. You only need to communicate to the Dapr sidecar, and this piece of code is going to communicate to the secret store that you configure. Of course, you need some kind of component. You need a manifest file that you need to create, and that's the place where you define where and what is the secret store that you're gonna use, right? So quite easy stuff, and let's move on. There are many secret stores, as I'm mentioning right now, and this is actually the screenshot from the Dapr documentation from yesterday, and you can see there are some generic ones, such as the Kubernetes secrets store. And Kubernetes itself, it doesn't have any kind of secret store itself, since it's only um, keeping the secrets as a base 64 value. It's not um, it's not um, encrypting those values. And there are other secret stores quite useful, such as the local environment variables one that I'm going to show you today. I'm sorry. I don't know why. When I'm here in this office, I'm always coughing. Maybe it's something about the environment. Anyway, I beg your pardon. Okay, cool. The thing is that you can use any kind of secret store. You can go ahead and navigate to those secret store places. Let's copy this. So let's see what happens if we navigate to this web application. So I'm going to paste the value here. And yeah, you can see the different documentation files from, sorry, say, I don't know, local environment variables. This is the one that I'm going to show you today, in addition to the Azure Key Vault one. And so you can see that this is a component object, API version, kind, metadata, spec, and the kind is component. I'm sorry. Oh my God. My good friend Steven was asking me, hey, are you okay? How's health? And I told him, hey, it's fine. I'm feeling great. And all of a sudden, I'm coughing. I don't know if, I don't know, maybe I'm not that well. I need some kind of sweet or any kind of, I don't know, glass of water or something. Um, anyway, bear with me, friends. So component, this is the kind, and then you have to specify the configuration just like any other building block. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Yes, I want to take a break. My good friend Steven, I have to go to pick grab a cup of water, okay? All right, back. So yeah, thank you very much for your time. Have my glass of water. It's something about the environment, maybe kind of dust. Anyway, let's move on. Let's create a new project and let's name it right here. I'm gonna create a new application. Let's name this session 8, right? And I want to create a new application that allows you to grab the secrets from the environment variables. And you know what? I already have in session 6 or 5 bindings. You might remember this application, and let me see what's going on here. We can see that this application is using of course, the Dapr sidecar. And if I go here, you might remember that we have this cron binding, and then it's using another binding for communicating to an open API. I'm sorry, OpenAI model that is in my Azure AI Foundry account. So if I navigate to this components folder, I can see this binding, right, that is firing every 5 seconds. And this other one, OpenAI.yaml, you can see that I'm specifying the API key directly in the manifest file. And this is not a bright idea, right? Since, I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause the video here. I'm back. Oh my God. So the API key is directly specified here in the file. Not a good idea. So let's take this entire application and let's use the secret management building block. So let's see what happens, okay? So let's open up this solution. And first, let's see what's going on here. It's already opened in Visual Studio. So let's execute this application. Let's run the Dapr sidecar. So the application is going to be secrets, and then Dapr HTTP port, let's say 55,000, and then HTTP port, let's use 5500. Components path is going to be components, this folder that is in the previous folder, right? And then .NET run URLs, and then 5500. So, of course, I need to execute this right here. And let's change the components path. I think this is the correct place. Let me see what's going on. So Dapr run, .NET run, and there's something wrong with my HTTP port. It's going to be app port, application port. Correct. So it's running. In other words, I'm running the Dapr sidecar along the application. And this is the bindings application, right? And the thing is that it's returning this 401 error since I changed the API key the other day. But I don't want to modify the component, the manifest file directly. I already have that environment variable right here, which is Azure OAI underscore key. This one. So you can see that this is different than this one, right? Two different values. And this is the correct one, but I have it in my environment variables. So what can we do? Let's move on. Let's navigate to this documentation, and we can use this local environment variables component. I'm gonna copy everything and then paste the contents in a new manifest file. So let's create a new manifest file. Yeah, let's use Visual Studio Code. So secrets.yaml, and this is the contents. So this is the most important thing. This is the technical name for the secrets component that we're going to use. And the name is nvar secret store. I'm sorry about that. So let's change the name to something simpler, such as my secrets, right? This is the type, secret stores.local.environment. And that's it. I think you can configure a prefix that all your environment variables have if you happen to be using that kind of structure in your names. In this case, the name is Azure OAI, and the one that I showed you before, Azure OAI key. Okay. Okay, cool. So I have this component. So far, so good. Let's go back to the terminal that is right here. And now we need to modify the OpenAI.yaml component. Let's go back to Visual Studio. I forgot to do that because I want to reference this secret store right here. So if you happen to be a Kubernetes developer or administrator, you know that we have the secrets and the config values places that we can use for specifying configurations, right? So in a very similar fashion, you can use the secret key ref right here. So instead of using the value directly, I'm gonna specify a secret key ref, okay? So I need to go back to the documentation. I'm sorry. And I just need to know if I need to specify other element. So I'm gonna click this link, and yes, auth, and then secret store name. That's the first one. So auth secret store, and the name is my secrets, right? My secrets. So that's the first change that I need to implement here. Then I need to specify the secret key ref. So instead of value, secret key ref. And thankfully, I have Copilot, and this is, suggesting this structure. And the name is going to be Azure, what was it? Azure OAI underscore key, right? And let's use this. Let's use this. Let's see if that is enough, okay? So, in other words, you're referencing the secrets component in this other component, which is the binding for the OpenAI large language models that are running in my Azure AI Foundry account, right? So there's no need for me to use the API key right here. In this same sense, and in this same fashion, you can store connection strings, any kind of API key, which is a secret thing. I don't know, any kind of sensitive thing for your application. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the terminal and let's see if this is running. Let's navigate to bindings demo, Dapr run, app ID, Dapr HTTP port, the application port, the components path, which is the folder where all the manifest files are stored, and then double dash in your specific application settings and commands for running the application itself. So let's execute this, and let's see if this is gonna be enough. The cron job binding fires, and then the OpenAI binding is trying to communicate to the, to the large language model. And of course, I'm receiving those values correctly this time, since the API key is valid. However, the API key is no longer in my manifest files, is inside the environment variables in this machine. So if you're wondering what kind of prompt I'm sending, Well, the prompt is very simple. It is actually, um, let's go here and controllers. And what are the largest cities in the world? And that's why I'm receiving that, JSON document. And maybe I can go ahead and change the prompt to say, hey, just return the list, you know, as a bulleted list instead of a document. Anyway, that's the prompt. And this is working. This is perfect. This is perfect. And this is great when you're building in your Dapr application and you are in the development phase, since you don't need to, store those secrets in the repo. And I think this is fantastic. So let's go back to the web browser, and it looks like I'm no longer coughing anymore. And you can see here, right there, I have my air conditioner. Some people installed that air conditioner unit the other day. And I think it's related to that. Anyway, cool. Perfect. Let's go back to the presentation. So you can use different secret stores. I'm just showing you today the local environment variables one, since it's available now, and it's fantastic. Remember that nowadays, at the time of this recording, the latest version of Dapr is 1.14. And I think the team is working very hard to release 1.15 soon. Fantastic. So remember that, of course, you can also grab the secret by using the Dapr sidecar. In other words, let's go back here. And so this is the same application that I'm showing you. And of course, you don't need to change the code at all, right? Because you just configured and referenced the secret store in your binding component. But of course, you can also use this Dapr client and then get secret async. Then you pass the store name, my secrets, and then the key, Azure OpenAI key, and that's it. Bar result equals await, and you know the drill, right? And I think this is great when you, of course, need to store something that is a secret and it's a sensitive value, and it's no needed. You don't need to use it in other component, right? For example, it could be, I don't know, a list of names, or maybe a connection string itself that you don't have a component for. Who knows? The thing is that you can also use this, and it's a very easy thing to do. So let's talk about a little bit about Azure Key Vault. And right here. So in this other case, you need to create, of course, the Azure Key Vault itself. I'm back. And also, you need to create a service principal. If you happen to be an Azure developer or architect, Well, you know that you need to register the application, and then you need to create the service principal, and you need to obtain the ID that was created when you registered that application. And then you use this manifest that I'm showing you right now. And you can see the type is secretstores.azure.key vault, and the key vault name, let's say Dapr in action, right? The Azure environment value has to be Azure Public Cloud. Oh my God. And then Azure tenant ID, that's your service principal tenant ID that is returned when you register the application. And also, I'm sorry, the tenant ID is something that you know beforehand. And the Azure client ID is the one that is returned when you register the application. So you specify those two values, and then you specify the path for your certificate file, and that's it. And just remember, and just take into account that this is the only way you can use Azure Key Vault. I believe, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, some years ago, you could use some kind of key or connection string for your key vault when using that component in Dapr. Maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, today, that's the only way. And when we touch the, deployment topics, we're going to return to this one since I want to use Microsoft Entra ID and for communicating to the Azure Key Vault and using those secrets when deploying the application to Kubernetes or Azure Container Apps. Okay, just take into account that you have this option only for authenticating with Microsoft Entra ID. So far, so good. I believe this is it. This is the topic about secrets management. And you can also use the, the endpoint itself. If you happen to be using an HTTP request, you use the V1 or gRPC for that matter. You use this URL. This is the name or endpoint for obtaining the secrets and getting access to the secrets. And again, I've mentioned this before. I don't think that's a real world situation, since you have quite powerful SDKs for a lot of different programming languages and frameworks, such as the .NET one. And yeah, let's call it a day, friends. Secrets, don't put your secrets in your repo. Don't put your secrets in your application settings.json files or any other configuration for your specific programming languages. Instead, use an secure place for storing the secrets, such as the Azure Key Vault or the AWS one or Google and so on. And for development purposes, you can also use the local environment variables secrets component, just like I showed you today. Perfect. So I believe that is it. That is it. Next time, we're going to see other fantastic building blocks. And thank you for your time, and see you in the next session.